Watching World Insight with me, Tian Wei, still to come on our live program. Misinformation on the Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region in some of the press reports around the world. Can China reverse deep-seated perceptions from the Western media? That's the question. Welcome back. You're still watching World Insight with me, Tian Wei. The program is coming to you live on CGTN. Authorities in the Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region have responded to allegations made by the New York Times. The paper alleged the Xinjiang government is sending children to boarding schools, separating them from their parents. Officials also hit back at criticisms of vocational training centers in Xinjiang, saying they were aimed at improving people's skills. And they blasted comments by several celebrities in the U.S. and Europe about what they consider as misunderstanding about the region. Take a look.
I do not know whether these celebrities have ever been to Xinjiang, but they seem to be blinded by fake news and affected by unfound charges in their judgment. We welcome these celebrities to visit Xinjiang as long as they have conscience, distinguish between truth and falsehood, and uphold the principle of fairness and objectivity. They will see a true Xinjiang. The Chinese government fully protects equal rights and freedom for people of all ethnic groups in accordance with law, such as the freedom for religious belief for all Chinese citizens, including the Uyghur people.
For more about Xinjiang, we are joined in our studio by Yan Shuai, who is an analyst at the Anti-Terrorism Center of the China Institute of Contemporary International Relations. Mr. Yan, welcome to our program. Now, I know you watched that press conference Friday morning, Beijing time. What do you make of some of the responses given by those speaking at the press conference about the Xinjiang issue?
There were a lot of several popular rumors and fake news concerning on the issue of Xinjiang, especially by some Western media like New York Times. As it was reported by New York Times, there were some kind of boarding schools separated the children from their parents by force. Actually, it's quite fake, and I think it's baseless. And actually, the boarding school is a long time China's practice. As myself, as an example, when I was in the secondary school, I was in the boarding school because my hometown is in the rural area, and my school is in the city or the town center. So it's quite a long distance from the home and between the home and the school. So it's quite a time costly for me if I don't have any room or have any place to live in near the school. So it's quite a good and good practice for the students, and it's quite widely welcomed by the parents and by the students. And at my time, at that time, I paid for the rooms and for the food. Now you see that
in the boarding school.
Yeah, boarding school. Now in Xinjiang, actually the government pay for the families for the fees on food and rooms. It's quite a very good practice.
Okay. Having said that, though, why do you think there is so much misinformation, as you believe, about Xinjiang in some of the media press coverage?
Yeah, according to my own observation, especially since 2 years ago, it is kind of there is a network is formed to disseminate the propaganda against China on the issue of Xinjiang. And in this coordinated network, I think the media plays a part, some Western governments plays a part, and also the journalists and some researchers, some so-called scholars. As for the media, they provide the platforms for those so-called researchers and journalists, because most of these researchers and journalists, they are anti-China, so their reports are quite impartial and biased and sometimes baseless.
Now,
and
with this campaign coming from the government to correct the misinformation, to say the least, do you think the understanding about the latest situation in Xinjiang and the realities in Xinjiang will be improved? How would the rest of the world know better about Xinjiang?
Yeah, because there seems lack of information from the China's side. So especially in recent months, the State Council and the local government in Xinjiang, they held several press conferences to give the world or give the Muslim countries and some the Western public some detailed information concerned about the such as the issue of vocational education and the training centers, and also the boarding schools, and also some popular fake news like some missing people or missing families or missing friends. So according to this morning's conference, the local government gives a lot of details on this issue so as to clarify to the general public of the other countries, so as to make them not be misled by the Western fake news.
Having said that, though, Mr. Yan, of course, you cannot express press conferences to be the only platform in order to create a better understanding about the Xinjiang issue, particularly between China and some of the audience in the Western countries. What can we depend on for the future in terms of real understanding? What can we depend on in terms of the quality of journalism? And what can we depend on in terms of making sure that people are being updated about the latest situation in Xinjiang?
Yeah, the government and also I think the scholars like myself is doing some work in this area. Not only the government are holding several press conferences, and as a researcher, I think we have the responsibility to conduct some researches and to communicate with our counterparts in the Western world, especially those who held biased or baseless views toward China. And we have been doing this work, I think, since several years ago, and we are achieving some results. And not only for the scholars, and also because the journalists and some researchers, they don't have any adequate information about the issue of Xinjiang. So the government and also maybe some people in China who has some friends in the Western society, they are inviting them to visit Xinjiang and to get the first-hand information by themselves.
Finally, before we go, you are working on the issue of anti-terrorism for years. What is the situation now in terms of the fight against terrorism in Xinjiang and the neighboring areas? How to make this fine balance of develop the society, the economy, and also the unity among different nationalities, among different ethnic minorities, and also the fact that there is still a war against terrorism that is going on in the region?
The local and national governments' fight against terrorism and extremism in Xinjiang has achieved a remarkable success, because you know, in the past 3 years there are no terror incidents in Xinjiang and also in other parts of China. This is quite a successful fight. So it's an indication. Even the UK, the United States, didn't achieve such a remarkable success. And compared to the regions surrounding China, especially in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and some Central Asian countries, compared to these countries, because terrorism problems over there is quite serious. Yeah. But now China is achieving results.
But my question more is about the balance between, you know, economic development, unity among all different ethnic groups, and also fight against terrorism.
Yes, without a stability and without a success of fight against terrorism, there will be no economic development in Xinjiang.
All right, Yan Shuai, coming from the China Institute of Contemporary International Relations. Thank you for joining us. And that is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, try to find us World Insight CGTN into your search engine. Check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone on World Insight team, thanks for watching. Tune in again next time for more insights across China and around the world. Good night.